Hey. Welcome back to the cafe, everybody. Great to see you again. Thank you all for jumping back in here with us, guys. We're checking out what is going on over in Delphi. Is it finally over? I thought it was. Is it? Isn't it? What's going on? I seen something in there about a new suspect, possibly. I don't believe that's the way it was. The way it was written, it looked like clickbait to me. But hey, we're going to talk about it. Our gonna have a little guest here, and whoever else may join us, who knows. Let's get into it, guys. Let's see what we come up with when we do. Let's get this show on the road. Here we go. Well, y'all know the rest, and it's not working. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Again, great to have you here. And I am joined this evening by my brother Mikey from the Last 24. How you doing tonight, brother? Can you hear me? Hello, Mikey. Maybe not.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there he is.
I got a little crossed up here.
You're good. You sound good too. Really good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Thank you for joining me, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I know you had we've been talking back and forth through Discord and stuff about the updates and all the weird things going on with this case and the appeal process and how it was coming down to the line and all that. So I figured you'd be a good one to join me.
Talk about the line. Holy smokes.
Like last second. Yeah.
11:20 at night when they filed it?
Yeah, they filed
11 o'clock. What was I saying?
It was still like the very last minute, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, they pushed the bill on that one, and it makes you wonder why. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's a good question because back on the 9th, supposedly they already had part of this written.
Mm-hmm.
Something else had to get done before then.
Yeah,
but still.
There's something up with that too, and there's a bunch of other stuff I've been seeing. We got some documents that Kelly threw in here for us. There's a lot going on. I like I said, I seen another thing in here, a video or per se that said confession, another suspect. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
You know, everybody thought it was done. So
yeah, I couldn't focus on it last night to save my life with those two. Oh my god.
Yeah, definitely crazy stuff. So let's see who we got in here with us first and foremost, real quick, and then we'll jump into this. Looks like Kelly Cal's in the house again. Welcome back, Miss Stormy, Dial Up Dreamer. Welcome back to you. Good to see you tonight. Sleuth Reloaded's in the house. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you tonight. Rowena, the wonderful Miss Rowena. Good to see you tonight. Tomboy Charms back in the house. Of course, the last 24. My brother Mikey up here with me. I appreciate you again, my friend Brandy B, the OG. Good to see you tonight. Let's see. Shaker Maker. Hey, says it. No, it's far from over. I agree with you on that one. I'm interested to see which direction this is going to go because there's some. I don't like the decision. A lot of people have heard me say that I don't care for how this all went down. I'm not comfortable with Richard Allen being convicted of this, so on and so forth, because I've had questions about this. While some of these questions are being added to with other questions now, with things that are popping out here, which is why we're talking about this tonight. So please share this out, everybody, if you will. Let everybody know we're in here talking about this tonight. If you could, make sure to hit that like button when you come through the door, and let's do this. What's happening? What were you saying, bud?
Imagine being whoever was on that jury, and now it comes out, and they're all starting to hear about this now.
And that's something. Remember, I said after the verdict came in, I said the jury doesn't know about everything that was that the judge said. No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about this. You're not bringing this into my courtroom. And now they're seeing and hearing this. They're gonna be pissed. Okay, I knew it. I
think I'd have mental issues. Just thinking that you just put somebody in prison for the rest of their life, and this comes out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
And it almost makes you wonder, was that the point? Was that done on purpose? I mean, this dude definitely, in my opinion, needs a new trial. I'm not saying he needs a new defense team, but that needs a new trial in front of a whole different judge, and maybe even in a different area, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. Yeah.
100%. Can you guys hear me okay in the chat or no? Kelly says somebody's muted. Can everybody hear me? Ray Knightley, welcome. I think there was. Yeah, there was. And the gag, I believe, has been lifted at this point. They waited a month, I think, or 30 days till after the hearing, or till the trial was over, and then the gag was being lifted, supposedly. And so things are popping up all over the place now. So that's probably why. Yeah, he needs a new trial, new location, new judge, new everything. I agree. And I guarantee you, with this trial, if he were to get another trial in front of a different judge that's not in the same, a different venue, all that, I bet you everything changes. I guarantee you. I was pissed.
They're gonna have to try real hard to hide some of their sneaky stuff.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And I told you, Judge Gall, I don't know what her issue is. I don't know why she did what she did, how she acted the way she did, any of that. I don't get it, but she did it.
Teamwork.
Yeah, it definitely causes some problems, and it definitely made their dream work. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no doubt.
Carry that narrative as far as they could, bro.
It's something to see, everybody that between Doug Carter to the other one, all of these different ones speak on it, and how some of them are just so calm and collective, and the other ones are like hostile.
Right.
It's just, I don't know.
My email number a month ago, I simply asked you a question, and you called me a troll. Maybe that's why you have only 30 or so people. Have a nice live. No, that's not why. And depending on the question you asked me, that's probably why I called you a troll. But you do what you got to do. I'm okay with the 30 or so people in here. So you have yourself a nice life, my friend. I'll even leave you in here. You want to add another comment? Go ahead. Welcome, Donald D. Nice. Good to see you. I love these. That's a troll comment there. That's probably why. If you said anything like that, that's why you were called a troll. So it is what it is. These people don't hurt my feelings anymore. Gall needs to be fired. She should never be able to be a judge again. I'm not going to say well, she needs to be looked into. I'll give you that much. She definitely needs to be looked into. Bama Mama's in the house. Welcome, dear. Good to see you. That's right. Trolls be trolling. Troll away. I've never seen that account before in my life, my email. So whoever you are, put your real name in there, and then we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? Dandelion S in the house. Good to see ya. Quality over quantity. Absolutely. It was definitely interesting. I showed it, Donald. It was definitely interesting, and I gotta say, what was I gonna say? The judge does not seem to be playing around in that case over there. Now that Judge Hippler, now that he's on board, and I like that. I don't think he's going to take shit from either side. So good to know. Visual of the flame over your head. Really, perhaps you need a good producer. Do you want me to move my head so you can see it better? Really? Um, Let me see your channel, my email. Let me see how you do things over there. Maybe I can use your producer. Or wait, do you have one? Maybe not. I don't know. We're doing great, Bama Mama. Great to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. Green Eyed Monsters in the house. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Great to have you here. It's debate for sure. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Thank you, Mikey, for that.
Yeah.
And thank you, Rowena. I just leave that running because it makes me feel warm. Eventually, that's going to be gone altogether. When I finally get off my behind and get this all moved around and stuff, it's so
It takes so
cold.
much time. You got
Wow.
wires that you didn't know you had.
Right.
Oh my
Exactly.
God. What a joke.
I'm just trying to decide for sure how I want it and some other things I'm going to do. So I love trolls. They're so
Yeah.
fun.
Good thing they're few and far between.
Oh, I know. Well, we got a good crew in here too. That helps with it.
Yeah.
So definitely, definitely. 38 peeps in the house, 20 likes, guys. Let's see if we can make that match before we get into this. It is very cold, folks. Very, very cold. It's even colder now than when I started my first stream earlier this afternoon. I think I looked at the temp earlier and it was like showing at minus 28 with the wind chill.
Oh hell.
It's cold. I don't know. It's too much.
This is some winter.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than I expected this year. I'm not used to this stuff at all. Thank you, Alabama Mama. Good to see you. All right. Let me see here. So. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh, I do have some of these. Mama Duck, welcome, welcome, welcome. Is that gonna work? Nope. Oh, where's it at? Where's it at? Come on in, everybody. Grab a seat, if you will. Childish people. So hard to believe sometimes that there's adults. That some of these people out here are adults. You know what I mean, Mike?
Yeah, no doubt. It's
It cracks me up.
I think that's the only way they know how to get by.
It reminds me of like teenagers going back and forth with each other. You know?
Some of them are more petty than the teenagers.
Yes, grow up. Please get a life. Did I tell y'all? I haven't seen you in a while, Bama. Did I tell y'all I'm pregnant and having my first little boy? I have 3 girls. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. And I hope everything's going well for you and you're healthy and happy. Good to hear. I'm so happy for you. We'll have a new little meatball in here pretty soon. Well, thank you, Dial Up. Yes, thank you for your view, by the way. I appreciate that person that doesn't like my fire back there. I appreciate your view. And all you else, everybody else that's not in the chat per se typing, we do appreciate you as well, guys, so very much. You know what? In fact, I'll show you guys something here. If I can get it to work. That's okay, Bama. It happens.
They give you these things once a month.
What's that, bud?
They give you these things once a month to give out.
Every so often, yeah. I don't know if it's once a month or not, but I'll look and then I'll see that they're there. I don't know if it's based on anything, but I like to give back. You know what I'm saying? Any way I can. So if it'll work. Sometimes it works and sometimes it's weird. I don't know why, but aha. Hold on a minute. Let's see if this does anything. It just might. Yep. Let's see if this works. Oh, it happens, Bam. I get it. Hey, Taylor's in the house. Welcome, Taylor. Good to see you, dear. Hope you're having a good night, and I hope you're staying warm. Yep, I think they're going to go through. Let's see here. 5 new memberships going back to you all. Thank you guys so much for being in here in this community with us and hanging out in this channel. We love and appreciate you so very much. And I'm going to throw these ones out. Dandy Lioness got one. Shay W. I Am Me was gifted. Just Dawn and Summer Jade. All of you guys gifted. Thank you so much for being part of this community and welcome to the sauce. We got 5 new meatballs. Welcome, guys. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you all so very much.
Kind of nice how this changed. Remember before these memberships would go out and you didn't even know any of these people.
I know. I say there's a couple times, there's a couple people I've seen that I've gotten them and I'm like, who are you? But most of them I do know.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Cap. Good to see you, brother. It's glad to see you back, bro. I know Cap's been sick lately and so on and so forth, but it's glad to have you here. Nancy Drew's in the house. Good to see you, Nancy. And I'll tell you what, because you're still white. Speaking of that, I guess I give you guys a few more. How about that one? I think that'll cover what I have so far. All right, let's see what we got here. Yes, Donald, it is. I appreciate this community so very much. Welcome, Miss Sherry. Welcome back to you. There's 5 more for you guys. Shaker Maker was gifted. Christy Nevada, Lori Jean, Bunny Murphy, and McMadre Heather. It's a new name. Congratulations. Welcome to the sauce. And thank you for being part of this community. We appreciate you very much. Oh, wait a minute here. So I've never seen them do this before. That's weird. Here's one more, Miss Paige. Welcome. Good to see you, Paige. Here's one more. Make sure your gifting is open, guys, through that $sign so that you can receive these when they go through. Looks like Bama Cat was gifted that one, and I have one more. Make sure that gifting is up. I've never seen singular memberships like that before. That's weird. Unless they were part of something else, but
Oh, they usually come in groups.
yeah, I usually get like 5 at a time or 10 or whatever, but it's usually just the 5s. There's another one coming, guys. Let's see. And that went to our whip. Well, there we go. That's all I got for now. Just a little giving back. 12 new meatballs in the sauce. Congrats and welcome to the sauce, guys. We do appreciate you guys so very much. And I hope you guys enjoy it here as well. Please hit that like button too when you come on in. And guys, if you will, please share this out. Let everybody know we're talking about it here tonight. It is so very much appreciated. All right. We got 12 new meatballs, 40 people in here, 25 likes. That is so very awesome. A little bit windy here too, D. I get you. Too windy, actually. So let me see here. I'm gonna give it just a few more minutes. Make sure everybody's here before we get rolling. But we got some stuff to talk about for sure. That is for sure. Thank you, Miss Page. Yes, guys, please hit the like button and share this out if you will. So what do you think, real quick, Mikey, while we're waiting, about what went on with the Delphi hearing thing and the way the judge and stuff was acting? Did you see that? You were in there, right?
Throughout the whole trial?
No, the hearing that we just watched earlier. Did you see any of that, or were you not in there?
With Koberger?
Yeah, the one we just watched.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty confusing. It was mainly just about media, correct? And just how it's not being showed to the public?
Basically, the DA, the prosecution, is trying to shut it down. They don't want media in there. They don't want it being out there. And the defense does. And then the media, obviously, they do. And the judge basically come up and said, I don't want anything being kept quiet here. I want everything out there, full transparency.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
That's what. Yeah, I like that a lot.
To the way it was.
Exactly. But thank you, Miss Stormy. Hold on 1 second, Miss
I mean,
Stormy.
that does
5. Go ahead, bud.
make you feel kind of nice that they've changed where it's at, and it's not the SOS same old shit.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. Very generous of you, Stormy. Gifted 5, and it looks like Southern Girl Detective, CC Ice, True Crime Unraveled, Grady 03, and Dagburn Johnny Gobble's Dead Floozy Mother. I love the names. Congrats, guys. We got 17 new meatballs in this sauce. Thank you so much, Stormy. That's absolutely amazing of you, and God bless. That's it, bro. We want transparency. That's all we've ever wanted. Period. So we got to get it going. Make sure, guys, again, that that little $ at the bottom of your chat there, click on that. Make sure that your gifting is open, available, and on so that you can receive memberships and things like that when they're out. And you will be a little bit more susceptible to grab it. Unfortunately, they're really random. So I wish we could just throw them at specific people, but you can't. So if you wanted one, hopefully you'll get one. You are very welcome. I am me. The judge don't want names that seem out who is wise. Right. Yeah. I think the judge is doing a really good job. I like this judge. Amen to that. Everybody's thoughts, theories, and opinions are very important. What'd you say, bud?
Is that the first time you've seen that, Judge?
No, No, I've seen him like 4 or 5 other hearings they've had, I think.
Yeah, I don't know where I've been.
The first time I didn't know if I was going to like him because he was a little bit more strict to the point. He wasn't as laid back as, Judge was, and kind of like, hey, man, that's how he reminded me. He reminded me of, I don't know, Judge, no disrespect, Matt, but he was just too relaxed and just weird. He didn't seem comfortable with it. So,
yeah.
Congratulations, Stephen. 6 months for True Wrecking Crime here. I appreciate you, brother, saying, Dago, you're doing a great job. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that very much. Yeah. He's fair and by law, no bullshit judge. That's my feeling too, Donald. I agree with you on that one. Definitely. So, all right, let's see. What did you say, Taylor? I have done 19 months for free quarterback QB, but can't. You might want to rewrite that, Taylor. I didn't quite get that what you're saying. JJJ act like he didn't know what was going on. In some senses, I agree. He seemed confused, and he was asking a lot of questions to like the prosecution and defense that he should have known answers to. I don't know. That was confusing to me, by all means. So, all right.
I wonder if that was by design.
What's that?
I wonder if that was by design.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Definitely makes you wonder for sure. All right, let me see here. Can I get this to move? I can. Good job. All right, let's see here. Okay, Miss SRBBBBBB's in the house. Welcome back, SRB. Good to see you tonight, dear. I was hoping to see Miss Sassy too, but she's probably busy with them babies of hers. Yep. Okay, there's that. Oh shoot! Wait a minute, guys. Miss Kelly Kell's in here. Tomboy, is Miss Tandy home yet? I haven't seen Miss Tandy all day. I haven't seen Tandy in a couple days, actually. What do we got here, Mikey? You sent me some stuff right there. Yes. Now that one we checked out already before I got it. Now let's see here. Let's start with this, okay? Wait. I think everybody saw this already, but I'm gonna start here real quick and throw this up. This came out 2 months ago, but no, we did see this. Hold on. Just trying to remember. Give me a second here. Okay, hold on. Well, this is something that I've never seen before, and we're gonna get into that. And I may open up the panel too to discuss all this stuff for you guys if you'd like to. Don't think he has it all because he said he wasn't aware of what would come out during the hearing. I don't know for sure though. Good question. Right. Walt Harris is in the house. I got Gracie's ashes back. They even sent a little to. Oh, that's sweet. I'm so sorry, Walt. I know you're having a rough day, brother. You're in our thoughts and prayers, bro. Just so you know. I'm glad you got that back, and I hope it maybe helps you feel a little bit better in some way. But know that you're not alone, bro. If you need somebody to yak at or talk to or anything, let us know. We're all here, bro. I know.
Even troll. We're here to troll.
Yes. SRB, you're a mess.
He's so full of shit.
I know. We love you too, bro. 100%. Yeah, Walt's been going through a little something, guys. We lost one of his pets, one of his kids, in my opinion, and that's rough. We guys, we know that. So good to see you, bud, and I hope you're doing better. Dandy, I haven't been watching much of Doe. I feel like Richard Allen got the shaft, and it's well, that's why some of this stuff that's coming out now is kind of interesting. I feel the same way, Dandy. I really do. All right, let's see what we got here. We'll go with this first, and we'll just bounce around to whatever else we see with it and talk about it as we're showing it.
Developing news in the Delphi murders case. Attorneys for convicted killer Richard Allen have filed new motions to try and clear their client's name. A jury convicted Allen in November of killing Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. Now, the motion of errors filed today questions the timeline for these murders, with new video placing the white van that spooked Richard Allen before the murders at the crime scene 15 minutes after the murders. Now, attorneys also claim that Allen's Sixth Amendment rights were violated when his attorneys weren't present at an initial hearing in 2022. And the defense is also disputing evidence from Libby's cell phone after testimony claimed the state found someone was plugged into Libby's phone after the murder and that they didn't bring it to jurors. But the biggest bombshell revealed this morning, another jailhouse confession for somebody who attorneys claim was a prime suspect from the very start.
And Dan, all of that really revolves around Ron Logan, the man who owns the property where the girls' bodies were found. And this evening, Fox 59's Max Lewis breaks down what was allegedly said inside of that jail cell in 2017.
The defense called it newly discovered evidence that is so significant and entitles Richard Allen to a new trial. It's a confession to the killings of Abby Williams and Libby German made by Ron Logan, who owned the property where the girls' bodies were found.
Yeah, where did this go sideways?
Now, isn't that amazing?
What in the hell? Surprise.
Guys, 2017. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, 7 years. And the man's dead, conveniently.
Oh, but Richard said it while he was stuffing forks up his bum that he got rid of the girls.
Yep. How about that, guys? How about this? This is nuts. I mean, and how many times have people looked at Ron Logan that's on his property? Now they're saying the man confessed to some things. Everybody's always said, I've always said, quite a few people have always said, guys, there was a woman and a girlfriend of Logan's that came out and said, he did it. I know it was him. He attacked her.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah. It's funny how they did that shit in Delphi and over in Florida that somebody's lady came out and ratted him out, but nobody ever paid attention to it.
Exactly.
On record.
Who are these people that they can just, people can call them out left and right and nobody says a damn word to them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Odinism? What was that? That has nothing to do with that.
No, we can't talk about Odinism, Judge Gall. We're not talking about that in this courtroom. That has nothing to do with this. No. What?
That's what you see on the internet. My ass.
Yeah. Stop following internet rumors.
Yeah. Oh, Dougie.
Yep.
That guy chaps my ass.
Yeah, right. Everyone said he was innocent, and I couldn't get past him. A lot of people couldn't. A whole lot of people could not get past him, SRB, because there's something about, like I said, the man had a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend, that was petrified of him, terrified. They came out and said, I know it was him. I'm telling you, I know it was him. I don't know. Sherry says, I still say one man, then one girl could have gotten away. Yeah, of course. Of course. If one man did this, one of the girls probably would have gotten away. I agree with that, Sherry.
Did I rattle off all that crap to you about how edited that bridge footage was?
Mm-hmm.
When people were in the courtroom looking at it, the first one that wasn't edited, Bob Mata couldn't even see him.
Right. Well, that's the thing, guys. Let's talk about that for a quick second before we get into this. If you look at that video, it's never really been approached. That part of it's never been talked about a lot. Not even here. Somebody brought it to my attention, and I really thought about, like, why the hell haven't I said anything about this before? Welcome, Miss Cassie. There she is. The sassy one is in the house. If you think about that, the distance that video was shot at.
Yeah, it was supposedly like 25 to 30 yards per bob.
Yep.
And I get the girls mixed up, but they were like about 10 yards away from each other.
Uh-huh.
The one was still on the bridge and the other one was, videoing.
Yep. So let's think about that. How clear did that sound to you, Mikey? Let's go, guys, down the hill. Okay.
Oh yeah, not clear at all.
It sounded like to me that they were this far away from the phone. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem with that. And nobody really ever paid attention to that before because we were too worried about, is this bridge guy this person? Is it that person? Who's this? Who's that? What's this? Where's that? What's going on? What's all this? Nobody paid attention. Like, if they did, they didn't say a lot. To that point, like, how close were they to the phone when they said that?
Yeah. Who knows what these people? I mean, at some point in time, it makes you wonder, did they just add the audio into this? We have no idea.
I wouldn't doubt it. I've said for, Go ahead.
You never know what these people, it's
mm-hmm.
I know.
And I've said for a long time that I don't trust the video. The bridge guy video, I never did. It's looped. It's short. We only got so much of it, and it's just weird. Then the audio to me sounded like two different people, and I swear it was added after the fact. And it's just the whole thing was never comfortable. I was never comfortable with it. I was never comfortable just accepting, okay, that's what it is. And I'll say this much: Shaker says the jurors got it wrong. If they did, Shaker, it's because they weren't given all the information they should have been given in this case to look at it with respect, to look at it the right way. They were only given what they wanted them to have. There were things that were not allowed to be spoke about in Judge Gall's courtroom. There were things that were not allowed into the trial that should have been. And here we are now. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Hell, was it Indiana State Police even said that they believed that more than one person was involved in this? Why was there only one suspect and one defendant?
Yeah. And then, even to think that they took these girls across that freaking creek, So one person's going to march two girls, whether you have a gun or not. I mean, there's a lot to this for one person.
A whole lot. Like Sherry said, Wisdom Speaks said, if there was one person, it would be real easy for one of these girls to get away, screaming and yelling, go get help, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So,
and then down to Oh,
Welcome back, Josie.
they released out. They were talking about these the injuries that the girls had.
Mm-hmm.
And the serrated marks that were. I think it was Stormy. I mentioned something too. The serrated marks that were supposedly on the neck, but some of these injury spots didn't have those. So it was
Right.
almost like it would be two different weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not real bright on freaking box cutters. I said, what's the chances that it had a serrated blade? Well, she kind of blew that. She said, they all have serrated blades. And I'm like, WTF you talking about? But yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of different things. Even if you look down into their, the injuries that they had,
There's a lot of questions. Yes. Agreed. I do agree. Again, welcome back. Josie, good to see you. Mama Duck says, after the Kieran Reed case, I no longer trust one-sided evidence when it comes to judges and cops. I can't say I blame you. And Tomboy said, Tricky Nikki lied. Well, guys, in my opinion, that's pretty much, yeah, I agree. Thinking about it now, the voice sounded added and not in. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I've been saying that, SRB. But there's nothing anybody would do because the queen, the judge, would not listen to anything. She didn't want nothing that she didn't want, and there was reasons for that, and I still don't understand it. I'd like to know what Judge Gall's issue was through this whole thing. It was like she had it in for him and nothing else. She wouldn't hear anything. She wouldn't allow anything. She did everything in her power to make his trial as hard as it could be, in my opinion, of course, and to make him miserable. Okay, and the man went through some things that you don't ever see people going through that are in these types of situations ever.
Yeah, no shit. Down even to where they housed him, they took him to to fucking prison.
They sent him to prison 3 days after he was arrested for this.
Yeah,
without even being found guilty. That's a whole thing in itself. So
he wasn't safe over there, but he was fucking safe over there.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, Vern? And then it's like, well, he can be safe here while he's on trial.
And then they moved him. They moved him as far away from his attorneys and his family as they could. I mean,
part of that mental game,
right?
To do what they exactly have done to him.
Oh yeah, yep.
He's got like the brain of a child right now. I mean, I don't mean to say that, but it appears that way.
Agreed. I do agree with you. Yes, sir. Tomboy says again, nah, Tricky Nikki lied and the defense has proof. And I bet you there's other things that went on. That whole thing with the photos being leaked and this and that and everything else. I'm telling you, I don't care what anybody says. My opinion of it is that there was something behind that. I don't think that was, I think that was led by the prosecution side of this case. I think a lot of these things were set up to happen the way that they did for reasons, guys. And I'm just saying, that's my opinion. And I'm sorry to say those types of things. I don't really believe in conspiracies, but this whole case, to me, is nothing but a damn rabbit hole. And it has been. And it's all in front of our face, though. It's not like the bullshit that came out in Idaho with the tunnels and the stupid shit that was added to that case here and there and blah, blah, blah. This stuff is happening, and it has happened in front of us. There's proof that these things happened and stuff. So it's crazy.
The cover is crazy to think if this really goes back that far, even and clear to the judge that didn't allow stuff to come into court. That's a long list of
that's a whole long list. Yes. And then, we have an attorney that was on the defense side of this for a little while. William Librado did an interview. He brought up the Odinism stuff. That man, in my opinion, folks, watching that interview with him seemed like he was nervous to talk about any of this, and very clearly said that he has defended a lot of people, and most of them he believes are guilty. And they said, well, what do you think? Do you think Richard Allen is guilty? And he goes, I think that Richard Allen had absolutely nothing. He didn't even put him in there as a partial, okay, as in him and somebody else. Nothing to do with this case is what Librado said. That stalled me out. As soon as I heard him say that, I was just like, what do you have to lose? What does he have to gain from saying something like that? Nothing. He's not defending him. The things that he saw, while he was Richard Allen's attorney, shut him down and blew him away. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that one. There is absolute corruption within this case, and I think I know who is involved in all of it. Truly, guys, we just covered that whole Flora thing. Was it last week? Between Flora and Delphi. If you look at that and what we talked about there, and come back to this alone,
there's a lot of matches.
There is a lot of shit that just is not. It's completely sideways, in my opinion. So,
I almost think that one's. I don't know which one's more sideways. They're both sideways.
They're both bad. They're both very bad. I can't remember, Dandy, but in the very beginning, the Odinism stuff was looked at from the beginning. There were at least three investigating officers that stayed with that whole theory through the whole thing. One of them lost his life. Imagine that. He was killed from a CO. Used to be a prison guard. That happened. And all those little things that you throw those into this pot here, guys, and you tell me that this is a case that's on the up and up with full transparency, I'm gonna tell you you're full of shit.
Yeah,
completely full of shit. Sorry. And again, I'm not saying that Richard Allen wasn't involved at all. I won't say that, even though I have a very strong feeling that he may not have been. I'm going to give it that he could have been involved with other people, but I still feel I'm leaning more towards the end that he was put here for a reason. I'll just say it that way. Okay. This man has no criminal background. All the people that did have criminal backgrounds were let go, walked away. We got one of the guys that lived, 8, 12 houses down from the Flora house that burnt, that was involved in this as well. His name was, I should say. Come on. There's too many things in this case that just point towards other things that they won't look at. And I'm just so over it. And I truly believe that Richard Allen needs 100% a new trial, a new judge, a new venue, and see what happens at that point. So
where the hell could they take this?
Anywhere but Delphi.
Well,
anywhere.
What the hell are the major cities around this joint? I don't even know.
This is on the up and up. Are you serious, SRB? Up and up of what? Are you drinking? What are you doing? There ain't nothing about this case. It's up and up. It's on the down and down. You're crazy. Andrea Burkhart was in the courtroom. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She definitely was. Madahare. Gotcha. Just wanted to you want to hear me say it, that it's on the up and up? You guys are crazy. Anyway, let's get this one rolling here. See what we got.
You'd swear those two are related.
What'd you say, bud?
You'd swear those two are related.
Yeah, you think?
They both do the same shit.
Congrats, Shaker. You're welcome for the membership. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate you very much. You said you'd tell anyone that they are full of shit. I wanted to hear. Oh, you're full of shit. There you go. All full of shit.
The confession apparently took place inside the Newcastle Correctional Facility, where Logan was serving his sentence for a probation violation. It's there that he got to talking with another inmate in his cell block, Ricky Davis. In a letter signed by Davis in June 2017, he recounted Logan's confession, writing, quote, "He told me he was the one who killed those girls, that it got out of hand. He walked with them in the woods to his property. The girls wanted to turn back and said something about calling the police. Logan apparently went on to say that he, quote, grabbed the youngest girl to reassure her it was okay. However, they panicked, and he also panicked. Logan indicated he ended up cutting the oldest with a box cutter. He went on telling me that he killed both of them because it was taken too far. At the time of that supposed confession, the fact that the girls' throats had been slit and that a box cutter was the likely murder."
You gotta be fucking kidding.
What'd you say, bud?
This is crazy, huh? Yeah, right out in the open.
And you know what? It sounds. I can believe this. I can believe this. I truly can. No, wow. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing. Here's my question to everybody. This other inmate, this Ricky Davis, what would he have to gain from this at this point by coming out and saying something about this?
Yeah, not.
Especially if this is corrupt like they're saying it is. He could get in some shit.
Yeah.
Just like the inmate that basically told the world that Richard Allen was being abused in prison. That same guy. He could get in some shit. Okay. He's an inmate, so of course nobody's going to take him as being credible. But you're not gaining nothing. He's not going to gain nothing from this.
Yeah,
okay?
whose days he saving?
Oh, right. That's it.
I mean, Richard
Logan,
Allen ain't freaking patting him on the ass for this, you know?
right?
Nobody's on Richard's side.
Nobody. So he's not getting anything out of this. Right. You are absolutely right. And Logan's dead, so he can't do anything to him at this point. So this sounds credible to me. It sounds like something that could be. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the sad part is that the man's dead, so there's no way to punish him for it.
Yeah, no doubt.
If it comes out. Just saying.
Perfect. It's by design.
It sure as hell sounds like it.
Weapon were not public knowledge. In fact, it wasn't until the trial late last year that the forensic pathologist who performed the autopsies testified that a box cutter was the likely murder weapon.
Now, looking back, they're able to say, well, with that box cutter information, that opened the door. Once they put box cutter and they had a suspect who confessed to using a box cutter, we definitely should have been able to get into at least this other suspect.
It opened the door that they shut.
What'd you say?
It opened the door that they shut.
They shut and locked that door. 100%.
Yeah.
What's up, Be Real? Good to see you. That's exactly what they did. And that's what I want to know. I want to know why. I want to know why these things are being covered up, why they're being pulled back, why they're being hidden away, why they're not being talked about. I want to know what the reality behind that is. You know, what her deal is. Why? The motive behind all of this is what I don't understand what it is about. I have ideals, but of course I'm not going to throw that out there without having some kind of proof of anything, because I think we've all talked about it already, about people in higher up positions being involved in things that they shouldn't be. And that's one of my opinions about certain things with this. That's all.
Yeah.
And Matahari said, but if they open that door, it's fair play. 100%. I do agree. There's Miss Tandy. Good evening, dear. But thank God that this was not a DP thing, because
yeah, no doubt.
That would have been a little harder to fight, in my opinion. I mean, he still got the appeal process, but still. Just saying.
Rule that the defense team could not put forward any theories about other potential suspects. In the early days of the Delphi investigation, Logan was a prime suspect, so much so that the FBI was able to secure a search warrant for his home. It's unclear if they ever found anything connecting him to the murders, but Allen's attorneys say that confession and the details in it exculpates Mr. Allen and would probably produce a different result at a retrial.
Logan died of COVID back in 2022. The prosecution has yet to respond to these claims or any of the others made in these filings. Our legal expert told us that right now it is too soon to tell how or even if this will affect Richard Allen's conviction for the murders. In the newsroom, I'm Max Lewis, Fox 59 News.
Of all things, he died of the sea.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, this just popped up yesterday. We're gonna look at some paperwork too, some documentation on this stuff, guys. But I gotta say that I was kind of like expecting something like this. Maybe not as much and as fast, but I was kind of expecting something after the conviction. And once the 30 days was up on the gag scenario, I highly doubt it, Matahari, because we should be able to get a FOIA request. I'm just telling you, whatever they found at Logan's, if we've seen how all this went down so far, do you think they're really going to put that out there? I don't. Whatever they found has either been hidden, burnt, destroyed, whatever. If they found it, you know what I mean? We'll never see that. And he's gone now, so there's no way to get any of that stuff, in my opinion, either, unless they have stuff in, custody as evidence, per se. But I would imagine if that's the case, that we'll never see that, is what I'm trying to say. So Wait a minute here. What was denied? Hold on a minute. Back up here a little bit. Miss Sherry said something was denied, and I didn't get to see it. Oh, okay. Andrea filed to be on Richard Allen appeals team, but judge said no and turned her down. Oh, wow. Really? I wonder why. But what was Ron Logan to anyone? What would they want to protect him? Anyone know? I don't. I think that there's probably a lot of different people involved in something that they don't want to talk about, okay, because of the other people that could be involved in it. That's my only thought on that. I don't understand unless there was a fear of him, but I feel like they were all in certain people were all involved in a specific situation together per se. As my only thought on that.
That Burkhart deal, I almost feel like she's got too much of a public face, and they can't have that.
Probably, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, go for it, Matahari. If you have any luck with it, please let me know. I'm gonna try. It should be public knowledge. If it's been destroyed, they would have to tell us, right? Or if they can't find it, that's going to tell something else too. So there's that. What did Sherry say? She has more than one social media. Will lead you to podcasts for radio. It's not labeled Delphi. Okay, thank you. Good, Candy. I hope yours was good as well. I hope you're staying warm, and I hope you had a great day today, dear. Thank you for joining us. But what was Richard? Oh yeah, I said that already. Gotcha. Okay, here we go.
We have new information on the Delphi double murders case. The defense team for convicted killer Richard Allen is raising new questions about multiple items, including the state's timeline of the murders. Allen was convicted in the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German in November.
Now his attorneys argue that conviction should be vacated. Fox 59's Eric Graves has been reading through these documents for us today and now joins us here in the studio. And Eric, you talk with some of these legal experts who say these motions will bring this case likely back to court.
That's what they expect. This is the 24-page motion of errors. In it, Richard Allen's defense team outlines 4 points they say could have changed the outcome of his trial. Allen's attorneys are hoping this can get his conviction vacated.
Richard Allen is currently serving 130 years in prison for the killings of Abby Williams and Libby German near the Monon High Bridge in 2017. Allen's attorneys have filed new motions calling for his conviction to be vacated. Indianapolis defense attorney John Tompkins isn't affiliated with the case, but gave his expertise on the motion of errors filed Tuesday by Allen's defense attorneys. They say Allen's Sixth Amendment right was violated when his attorney was not present at an initial hearing in 2022. The attorneys say this email is evidence the state knew Allen had representation.
It's clearly not appropriate when you know a person is represented to proceed without their attorney present.
The motion also includes new video disputing the state's murder timeline presented in court. The defense says this video shows a white van arriving on the day of the murders near the crime scene at 2:45 p.m. Zoomed in, you can see the van. In court, the state told the jury the white van arrived around 2:30. Spooking Allen just before he killed the girls. Tompkins says the times not lining up could be a major blow to the state.
I think any judge would have to give very serious consideration to reversing the conviction because that was the core of their theory of the case.
Perhaps even worse for the state is if the prosecution knew part of their core story was false.
If they acted intentionally or knowingly, then you would get potentially reversal with no new trial.
In the motion, the defense also presented another suspect for the crime and an apparent confession not yet heard by the public. These notes were taken by a state police investigator from an interview with an inmate who said Ron Logan.
That's the Ron Logan one.
Yeah. This one. Still, you know?
Yeah.
And confessed to the killings while he was in prison.
Logan owned the property where Abby and Libby's bodies were found. He gave investigators a phony alibi, and his home was searched by the FBI in the months after the killing. The pathologist who performed the autopsy on the victim said in court a box cutter could have been used in the killings, which is what Logan said he
And
used
what
to murder the
at the
girls.
time of this,
2017
Holman was supposedly living on this property, right?
Say it again.
At the time of these murders, Holman was supposedly living on this property of his, on the opposite side of the creek where the girls were found.
Yep.
Yep.
That is true. That is true.
Surprise.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Why did they take him across the creek?
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Good question. Something's definitely up all the way around, period. There's no two ways about that. So many questions. What do we got here? There's got to be, yes, I agree with that one. SRB. Also, I agree, SRB, since him being a landowner, he could have been a LE donor. Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah, very good point.
Go ahead, bud.
Good point. The landowner donor.
Yeah.
But that's also landowner donors are known in Freemasons.
Oh, I know. And who do we have that was involved in the Freemason situation? Tricky Nicky.
Yeah.
As well as Brad Holder and a couple other peeps.
So there's a couple things, Freemasons and the other, there's some joint ties.
Yes, sir. Again, none of these things are looked at.
No, that's on the internet.
Right. And because we see this, we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
No.
We're full of shit. Or are we reading between the lines and seeing the things we're not supposed to be seeing? And that's why they don't allow for these things to be talked about, because there's some truth behind a lot of this stuff, in my opinion, guys. That's all I'm saying. Right. The plot thickens. Exactly. Let's see. Shaker said, ass Holman. Yeah. Implicated or an accomplice to the crime. I don't know. You got to take it for what it is and let it unfold is all I can say, Shaker. But still, I've never trusted him ever. And quite a few other ones I've never trusted. That's where I think that the deep end of this, let me put it that way. I think the deep end of this investigation, this trial, this whole thing, including the floor stuff too. And there's a couple other situations in Indiana that have gone down. I think the deep end of it points towards people of power. A lot of power. Okay. And that's why I think this is happening the way it's happening, in my opinion. That I don't know, Dandy. I don't know. I couldn't answer that. I don't know, but there's still a lot of stuff to bring up into question with this, folks. A lot.
I don't think the KKK was ever mentioned in any of the.
I think.
No, that was Keegan Kline. My bad.
Kline, yeah, because I thought the same thing at first, but we do know that the KKK is a very prominent group within these areas too. I'm not saying that that's involved in this at this point. Sorry. I'm just saying I thought you meant KKK too, but yeah, I get it.
Get some glasses.
That's what I'm working on.
No, I need glasses too, man.
I need new ones. So Stormy said this trial makes me feel more uneasy than any other trial out there, and I didn't even. It is one of the scariest trials out here.
Lock your doors.
It really is, and because of the possibilities of what could have been going on and what's going on is what freaks me out a little bit. Truly,
still out there. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, well, we just don't know. Like I said, you guys, I'm still stuck on what Indiana State Police said when they said that they believe that there were multiple people involved in this situation. I will not let that go. I won't. I think that was something that was said that shouldn't have been said. And it was said by somebody that has no involvement in this bullshit, obviously, and doesn't know about things that go on. And I think that it's important that it was said. I'll just leave it at that. So, what was closed? Oh, yeah, it was closed. And that's it right there. She closed it for a reason, I do believe so. Right. Right. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Evidence that was presented by the state at trial and arguably should have opened the door to them being able to get some of these other suspects and information about the other suspects in front of that jury.
I asked Tompkins if he thinks this could put Richard Allen's very recent conviction and sentence in hot water. He says it deserves a hearing where the defense could expand on these points and the state can counter the claims made or clarify them. Coming up later tonight, we'll have more on the new evidence presented pointing to Ron Logan as the Delphi killer. In the studio, Eric Graves, Fox 59 News.
All right, Eric, thank you. Now, Allen is expected again to appeal his conviction. The court appointed attorneys for that process, but he can't file a notice of appeal until the judge rules on this new motion. Abby and Libby were found dead in Delphi. That was in 2017, February. The best friends were on a hike on a day off from school when they were murdered. More than 5 years later, in October of 2022, Allen was arrested for the murders. The jury found him guilty last November, and the judge sentenced him to 130 years in prison last month. We've stayed on top of this case from the very beginning, and tonight we have more team coverage. At 10 and 11, we have new access to a different confession from the man who owned the property where the girls were found. You heard Eric mention him briefly there. We'll follow that development in our past coverage here on air and online.
Also,
and you even got the timeline that came out of the witnesses, because this is all out now. The timeline of the witnesses that were out there, it doesn't even line up. There's like 45-minute gaps, and at some point in time, this guy had puffy hair like, a Backstreet Boy. He's bald. He's fucking bald. So, oh, you're muted.
Amen to that one, bro. I do agree. Sorry about the muting thing.
Oh, you.
Hold on. Okay. Let's see. The boss lady was talking to me for a minute. Was this what I wanted to run here? Hold on a minute. I think this was something else. This isn't as new, but it was something that I had wanted to. Like I said, there was things that I don't remember if they were kept at the same facility or not, Cap. Yeah, she absolutely should have been removed from the case, but she wouldn't allow for that, guys. They tried. They took her to the Supreme Court and tried to have her removed. She wouldn't do it. She would not. They wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. No. And I gotta wonder why she was so dead set on sticking with this too. I don't know. Oh, okay, here was the other thing here. Wait a minute. Did I just miss that? 1 second. Nope. It's right here. Okay, hold on. And this is stuff that you guys have probably have heard, seen, and all this, but I wanted to bring this up and review this too. I'm trying to get all this in real quick because I can't be on here too long tonight. Tomboy says, once the Supreme Court realized that she was out to get the defense, there should have, 100%. The way she did things should not have been allowed. It's very highly illegal to do those things, in my opinion. I've never seen a judge act like that in my life over a case. And they just ignored it like it was no big deal. Yeah, that's what I mean. Indiana, they took it to the Supreme Court. She refused to recuse herself. They took it to the Supreme Court and they said no. I don't understand that. I don't understand how her actions were allowed to be the way they were. Again, I've never seen a judge act like this in any case I've ever seen, guys, ever. The buck stops higher, right? There's something that's, thank you, Sherry. Think about what that statement right there means. So the buck stops higher. We're looking at the possibility of corruption, okay? At what level, folks? If it got to a Supreme Court level and they denied her being removed, there's something not right here. that tells you how far up corruption could possibly go within this situation. And that sounds a little ridiculous, but with what we've seen, I'm not the person to jump into that rabbit hole talking about the governor's corrupt and the president's corrupt and that kind of stuff. I won't go to that level, guys, usually ever. Something ain't right. Something is wrong somewhere in this mix, okay? As far as the corruption goes. Why? And that's a good point, Stormy says, but why? I think it's the way there's something's off. I can't put it together completely. Buenos dias, Miss Amy. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us, dear. Buenas noches. Buenos dias, buenas noches, buenas whatever. It's wonderful to have you here. Yeah, I like that statement. The buck stops higher. I really like that. Think about that for a few minutes, guys. Let me
Richard Allen, you child murderer! Why did you do it? Shame on you! Shame on you, Richard!
Now, for what's tipping the scales of justice, convicted killer Richard Allen learned his punishment on Friday. Special Judge Fran Gall sentencing him to 130 years in prison for the February 2017 murders of Abby Williams and Libby German in Delphi, Indiana. No cameras were allowed in the courtroom during sentencing, just like the trial. But Court TV's Barbara McDonald was there in the courtroom and said that Judge Gall chastised Allen for his behavior toward her.
As she talked to him, she said at one point, these families will deal with your carnage forever. And then she kind of paused, looking at him. And then she said, and you sit here and you roll your eyes at me as you have throughout this trial. So clearly not making a good impact on the judge.
All right, so Richard Allen perhaps is going to be taking an appeal next. And many people are wondering whether he could be successful on appeal. Let's talk about it. Let's bring back in sensational trial attorneys Tommy Pope and Kirk Nurmi. Okay, does this guy have a prayer on appeal? Kirk Nurmi, what do you think?
Look, mathematically, no. I mean, probably about 5% of appeals are successful, but this is a special case. I mean, we talk about tipping the scales of justice. I don't know if there was any scales of justice in Judge Gall's courtroom, right? I mean, we see that in the end, even in the sentencing soliloquy, she's not talking about the victim. She's not talking about the crime. She's talking about herself. She's bringing it about her. She certainly made this about her a lot through the trial, but we go back to the exclusion of her lawyers, the denial of counsel. She certainly kept the cameras out of the courtroom, not maybe necessarily an appellate issue, but certainly one of the other issues that are going to be looked at, considering the defense didn't object to it. Also, add to that, and the most important, the conditions of confinement that she ordered upon him and the blocking of his defense. Not a defense that Martians came down, not a defense without any substantiation. The police investigated the possibility of onanism, and she denied him to present a case. She really, to me, did a lot of carnage to the rights due Mr. Allen. And as I've said before on the show, justice just isn't a destination, it's a journey. And here the journey was so misplaced, and the journey is almost more important than the destination in this country. And she did such a poor job at managing this journey.
Beautifully said, Kirk. I love everything you just said there. I want to zone in on something you mentioned is so key about how she restricted the defense from presenting anything about onanism. It's like she conducted a fact-finding mission prior to the trial happening and said, oh, this just has no place or has no bearing. Tommy Pope, as a former prosecutor, curious if you were on this case, if you would have rather had it come in to not run the risk of it coming back on appeal later.
Julie, I remember when I was a young prosecutor and I was with the senior prosecutor in a death penalty case, and I felt like he was trying the case for the defense. He was making sure they made motions. He was making sure that things got in, and it just blew my mind. Why were we helping them? And, I came to understand he was making a record, and he was making sure that the record held up when it went up on appeal. Kurt talks about the journey. That journey is full of minefields, particularly on the prosecution side. And some of the things you think logically you'd want to just fight, it may be better letting it come in. And like you said, you wouldn't have an appellate issue, that the defense would get a more full representation and defend their client, and there'd be less likelihood that we would see a case get overturned.
Great points. Tommy, thank you for that. I want to play a clip. This is from the superintendent with the Indiana State Police. His name is Douglas Carter, and he was talking about how he didn't see Richard Allen rolling his eyes, as the judge had said that she saw him do. Let's take a look.
No, I had no idea. I heard Nick was asked that same question, and he didn't see it either. I bet the jury did. But again, the jury sees both sides, the state, the defense, the witnesses, Richard Allen. Sees how people coming, how
What side is this side?
they go.
We'll see.
Knows
He sees one side. I feel like he sees one side.
Kirk Nermy, there's someone else in.
What did you say, bud?
He talks about how everybody sees both sides, and he seems like he sees one side.
That's it. One side. Only one side. Agreed. If they were at the same facility, a pattern of coercion would be plausible when it comes to confessions. I think it was at different times, though, Cap. If they were there at different times I believe. So I think, there's part of the issue. So if the state had actual proof of Richard Allen's guilt, why not let Richard Allen's defense spin the Odin theory? That's what I said. If you know for a fact that this man did this and you have proof of this, let him talk about the Odinism thing, because you have proof to prove that that's not true. But she wouldn't let it happen. She wouldn't even let you whisper it in her courtroom. She didn't even want that word said in her courtroom. That tells me something completely different. Sorry. Not sorry. Good point, Dandy. Very good point. I love that. Because their job is to prove committed a crime, it would be negligent from allowing anyone other to right. But she's allowed to allow the defense to bring different defenses in there. She wouldn't allow for that to happen at all. There's our lovely Mind of Monsters. Welcome, dear. Good to see you tonight. If you can hear me.
What's up?
Hello.
Oh, remember she was having microphone issues earlier in Discord.
Audio, yeah.
It's because Discord hates me.
There she is. There she is. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
How are ya?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Fabulous. Mic check 1 2 1 2. We're just going over the Delphi stuff and the possibility of the Ron Logan confession, blah blah blah, all the other crazy weird shit going on. You know how that goes. So, and I know your feelings on this situation.
I said it from the
so.
beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I will sit here quietly so I don't have the whole chat coming after me.
No, nobody will come after you. You're allowed to have your feelings, your thoughts. You can think Richard Allen did it all you want. You have that right to feel that way. Nobody's ever going to attack you.
They both did it. I've said it from the beginning. They let the man die instead of getting justice before he died, and it pisses me off because
I agree.
Everybody should have been held accountable for those two girls losing their lives, and I think that he got to die without being held accountable, and it irritates the little shit out of me.
Amen to that, Mom. Amen to that one. 100%. And it goes back to what was asked. Rosie's in the house. Thank you for joining us. Third-party defenses are usually allowed in court. Yes, I know. Yep.
Well, so are cameras, but there was that.
This woman didn't allow anybody to breathe in her courtroom. There's the problem, okay? That should tell everybody a whole bunch of what the hell. You know what I mean? Whole bunch of what the hell. Why would you even make that statement, Doodle? That makes no sense at all. You're lucky I'm not standing up doing jumping jacks because you're in here. It's wonderful to see you, Doodle. Come on down to Ron Logan Chrysler Jeep for the very best deals on our new LIBBY. Shut up, Walt. Shut up. Miss Kimber. Hello, Miss Kimber. Is off work now, joining us. Good to see you. Absolutely, Rosie. Good to see you. You don't need to make sure it's okay. That's crazy, dear. And you should know better than that already. She said hi, y'all. All right. So yes, Mom, this is something that I've never seen a case covered like this, where a judge has shut everything down, shut everything out, tried to sabotage a defense team, tried to. I mean, has anybody ever seen a judge react like this in a case ever?
Well, I mean, the Avery case, that's a whole fucked up ass case. Brennan Dassey and Stephen Avery, like that's a case that'll go down in history. I mean, but there is actual evidence that shows that they are innocent and not a bunch of hearsay. And in this case, you had people that were seeking attention and they come out and said, oh, I spit on the bodies, I did this, I did that. But there are things that didn't come out in trial that should have come out in trial. And that's on both sides. Like, why am I the only person that was sitting screaming? I mean, I'm sure I wasn't, but I'm asking myself, why was I the only person that was sitting there screaming at my Twitter feed? Where's the animal hair? There was animal hair that was found that was allegedly, possibly tied to Ron Logan. Why was that never brought up?
That's a great question.
Why was that never brought up?
Absolutely. Now that it's all said and done, now that Ron Logan's dead, why was it never brought up?
This case irks me as much as Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey's case does. And that's a case that I was I follow dearly close because a dear friend of mine is close to the case. And a good friend of mine is still very close to them. And, it pisses me off. And every time they appeal or they try to have something brought back up or looked at, they're like, nope, sorry. Spend the rest of your life in prison, even though there's a 99.9% chance that a law enforcement officer's son killed this lady. But it's fine. We're just going to keep you in prison because the justice system's broken.
That's an understatement, in my opinion. Absolutely an understatement, in my opinion.
I think as time goes on, it's getting more broken.
Oh God! I mean, first, listen. Some of this stuff, guys, it's probably been going on, okay, and we just don't see it because we weren't as involved in seeing things in the judicial system as we are now because of the access that we have to these things. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta say, Mikey's right. As time goes on and things in the world are changing, it's getting worse. It is getting worse, in my opinion.
I guess it kind of goes with society too, and how people are with their own family, and you name it.
Yeah, agreed. I do agree. Wholeheartedly agree. It's bad. It's very bad. They want a person alive in prison, not someone deceased. Better for public image. Yeah, that's another way to see it, I guess. I still think they were trying to kill Richard Allen when he was in there in some way or fashion. And I think that it just because it got brought to the surface of things going on by the defense team and other inmates that they had to back off. That's what I think happened there, but that's just, again, my opinion. I may be wrong. I don't know. How many judges have tried to have the defense removed for bullshit reasons? I've never seen that, Tomboy. That's what I'm talking about. She basically blackmailed them into leaving and told them, if you don't recuse yourselves, I'm going to put this out or do this or do that. That's so professional. I don't even know what to do with myself.
How many defense teams allow photos of two dead, naked children to be distributed all across the United States? That's where you have to ask yourself.
They don't. And I'm telling you, Mom, we may disagree on this, but I'm doing it with the absolute most respect I possibly can because I love you. I still think, and I know people may disagree with me, and I'm just saying this out of my own feeling and opinion. I personally think that the prosecution side of things may have had something to do with that. Okay. I think that was set up in some way that I know that sounds rabbit hole like. Guys, I can't imagine anybody ever doing something like that. And knowing that, here's why I'm thinking this. They knew it would come back on them if they did it, guys. The defense team would know because of who did that it would come back on them. So why would they do it? That's what I'm saying. It didn't make any sense to me. That's why I feel that it was pulled from the other side, possibly. Okay. Now, it could be a reach. I could be wrong. But with everything else I've seen, that was where my issue lied with that. What do you say, Molly? Like I said, they will protect their own. It's not a men's only group. Oh, no, I know that. And mind you, if you're going with the Odinism thing, that's not true Odinism, folks. Don't ever think it is. It's not even close to it.
Yeah, that's a recreation there. And
yeah, they completely twisted, turned, and flipped that upside down, inside out, and took a shit on top of it. It's not Odinism at all. And I'm saying, Danny, that's what I mean. I mean, I had to think about that. What defense team, knowing that they're defending this guy, is going to go do this, knowing that they're going to get found out? That's the problem. The way that all went down, they had to know if I did something like that and put somebody on deck to do that, they're going to figure it out. They're going to find me out. That makes no sense. Nobody's that dumb.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. It really doesn't.
That's what I'm saying, guys.
There's this amazing mechanism around for hundreds of years called a lock on a door.
Right. You're right. There is. And that's why I think that whole thing was a setup, Mom. I think it was a complete total setup that was done purposely to derail that whole situation. And like I said, I don't expect everybody to agree with me. You guys can look at me and go, "You're goofy in the head, bro." I'm not going to feel bad. I get it. Okay. I cannot imagine any defense team doing something like that, thinking they're going to get away with it with the people that were involved. Okay. And it was such a bad situation that somebody took their own life. It was disgusting. As far as you can throw it, it's disgusting. Okay. Tomboy said that those photos were leaked long before Mitch Westerman came along. Now, I don't know about that completely. I looked into it as far as I could see into it. I couldn't find any more info than I had on it. So some people may know more than me on it. I may be completely wrong, you guys, and that's okay if I am. You know, that's what this is all about. It's a think tank. It's just a horrible situation. The photos was disgusting. That makes me nuts. But anybody that would go, that's what I was wondering, because somebody brought that to my attention and said, it looks to me like the prosecution side of this will do anything they need to do to make sure that this man gets convicted. I agree with that. And they have. They did. It happened, in my opinion. Including doing something like that. I don't put it past anybody anymore. After the things I've seen, especially in this case, I can't. I don't want to believe that the judicial system is that broken and that there's that much corruption around. But guys, look at this.
All the ones with no cameras seem to be the most corrupt, huh?
I'm just saying, like, believe it or not, I wanted Richard Allen to be the one that did this. For everything that had happened, I wanted him to be the one. So therefore, I can continue believing in what's right and the law and the way that the law works and all that. I can't. I just can't. I'm not comfortable with it. And I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. It's just my feeling and my opinion. And I want you guys to understand something. Just because I believe something doesn't mean that I want you to believe it too. I want you to believe what you believe in based on what you see and you hear and you look into or whatever, okay? You don't have to take my word for anything. Understand that. I have a very strong feeling about this, and I have for a long time. And please don't be offended by what I'm saying, Mom, because I respect your feelings on it as well. I completely do. I know
I'm not offended.
I know you are, and I just want to make sure.
No, you would know if I was offended.
Yes, ma'am, I know, and I don't ever want to be in that corner because I probably pee in my pants. But I will be in the corner sharing cake and wine. We're doing. There you go. Cake and wine. There you go. Mixing. I don't know about the mix, but hey, Doodle always gives out good cake, and the wine. That's on you. Ron Logan confession stated that he took the girls to see the horses at the barn. Right. Yeah, we got to get to that paper. We may have to do this on a two-parter on this because there's a lot to this, especially with the documents. 100%. Brutally's right with that one. This case should scare everyone. You can be put away for life with no evidence, and we've seen that. We have seen that happen, guys. There's the cake, guys. I told you it was coming out sooner or later. Molly's talking about wine. Get out of here, Molly. Okay, now everybody's wanting wine.
Yeah.
Tomboy goes back to her sewing corner. Wine, cake, and sewing. Okay, you guys are down. Let's do it.
And the courtroom didn't see it. What might you do with these things if you're defense counsel for him?
Well, look, the rolling of the eyes is not going to be an appellate issue, right? But everything else she did was, right? And that could be used as an example, an exemplification of what she did. I mean, going back to, again, the denial of counsel, why there was no basis for that got overturned. It shows an inherent bias that she has towards him. Now, would that affect the sentencing? No, I think she was going to give him 130 years. She had every right to do that. But again, making it about herself shows maybe that personal bias. So you kind of maybe use that as fodder to this whole idea that Judge Gold was not a fair and impartial person to preside over this case. As you mentioned too, she did fact finding that really should be reserved for the jury. And that's, again, going back to what Tommy said, you want to put that in front of the jury, you don't have that appellate issue if the jury rejects it. If the judge who is biased rejects it before it even comes in, then you have a huge appellate issue and a viable one for Mr. Allett.
So true. Excellent insight from you both, as per usual. Tommy Pope, Kirk Nurmi, thank you so much for everything this morning. Thanks for making time on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and your beautiful families. We'll see you soon. And that is all for this episode of Opening Statements. But up next, Court TV Live begins. I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. We're going to New York as Luigi Mangione is being arraigned.
Okay, so moving on. 1 minute here, guys. Sorry. Where did it go? Where did it go? Well, we know that they filed to vacate the whatchamacallit. But hold on. One second, everybody. Bear with me. I'm sorry. I'm losing stuff over here. Okay, come on now. Oh, shoot.
But you're looking for...
Oh, I got stuff that I downloaded, and I have so much of it in here. I need to clear my cache, just like Sherry tells me to. I never listen. I'm always so wrapped up in my life and everything, but I'm trying. Oh, okay. Now here's this too. This was something new I wanted to throw out too. That I just saw. Sorry. Here we go. I'm just trying to little bits and pieces of stuff out to go along with what we're doing.
We're a few weeks now removed from the sentencing back in December. I wanted to start with how you are doing, how the defense team is doing.
We will be okay. It is gutting when you pour your heart and soul into something that you believe in, and it doesn't work out the way you hope it will. And the consequences of that are heavy. And so, you know, it's been gut-wrenching. For 6 weeks of my life, I did almost nothing but Richard Allen. Andy Baldwin and I and our investigator, Matt Hoffman, who's fantastic, lived together in a condo in Logansport. It was, you know, 24/7. And so it's hard, but we'll get through it. I hope and pray Rick will get through it, and we'll go on to the next step.
And how is he doing?
No one knows. He went through RDC, which is Reception Diagnostic Center, in record time. That is generally about 30 days. They do assessments. They meet with, you know, mental health professionals if needed. And it's generally about a 30-day process. He got through in, I think, 6 days. I don't know why.
Something that took a month, they got him through it in 6 days. That's kind of crazy, folks. But hey, I'm not going to jump off the, you know, down the hole again. We'll just leave it go. Just like the fact that he got sent to prison 3 days after he's arrested, but okay. Noel, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Tandy says, nope. Okay, we're good. Anyway, onward and onward. Onward and onward.
They continue, DOC continues to treat Richard Allen differently than any other person in the state of Indiana, but they do. They sent him back to Westville Control Unit. I talked to Kathy 2 days ago. She still could not contact him. So I don't know how he's doing. When we left sentencing, he was positive and looking forward to the next steps. So I hope he's doing well. I worry about that.
You mentioned next steps. We'll get to kind of where we are now and what those next steps look like. But I do want to remind people how you came on board this case in the first place, if you don't mind kind of taking us back to your initial involvement in this case.
Sure. I didn't know much about the case. I mean, I think everyone in Indiana probably heard about, you know, 2 young girls murdered on a trail in northern Indiana, and that was about the extent of my knowledge. When Andy Baldwin was appointed, I know Andy.
Yeah, it almost makes me wonder, Dandy. I hate to say that, but hearing her say that they hurried up and pushed him through processing, did this, did that, something that takes a month, was done in 6 days. Like almost like they want to get him into the system as fast as possible. I hope that he's not out in general population, because there's people that are going to go at him right away, you know, and it makes you wonder, is that why?
Maybe it was for safety.
What'd you say?
Maybe it was for safety.
Well, it could have been, or yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I think probably since he interned for my dad. So I've known him forever, and I have the utmost respect for him. And I kind of heard through the grapevine that he and Brad were going through some really surprising things. And I sent him a text and to let him know we've got a great bar association here in Johnson County. Everyone's just good people, supportive of each other. And I sent him a text that said, you know, we're all thinking about you. We're all behind you. And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. And then a couple months later, I got a phone call on my way to Wisconsin. And he said, hey, we need some help with these TUI requests and the forensic pathology. Would you be willing to come on board and help us with those things? And I said yes. And it was, you know, all encompassing from then on, pretty much.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You came on initially thinking we were going to be talking or maybe focusing on this kind of specific part of the case. Your role grew significantly to the point where you mentioned you're living with this team to do everything you can during this trial. Did you expect all of this as we sit here today?
No, shockingly. In hindsight, it should have been very evident. I knew that Brad and Andy had death threats. I knew that there was a lot of talk about it. But the extent of it, people, it's just a different environment now with social media. People chasing us around with cell phone cameras and, a constant influx of emails. That was not something I was expecting.
The focus of my questions are, of course, on the trial. So we'll talk about that in just a second. I do want to clarify, though, before the trial, before we took this thing to trial, did you visit Richard Allen in prison? And if so, what did you see or what did you hear?
I can't talk about what Rick and I talked about. Yes, I did. There were several Zoom meetings. Those were the easiest because of the distance. It's a day to go see him. I did go see him. I wish everyone could take a tour and see the conditions where he was confined. I didn't see him at Westville. I saw him at Wabash Valley, and he was in a cage, basically, and not doing well at all. And as I got to know Rick, he's a
Didn't they make him
super good guy.
his area?
He has his.
What'd you say, Mike?
Didn't they make him his area? That wasn't, they created they put a door.
For when he would visit with his attorney and stuff like that. They set up.
No, I meant his cell that he was in. Didn't they they put a fucking door on a fucking area that? Yeah, I don't know.
They did some stuff to especially. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely. All right, Miss Tandy, thank you so much, dear, for joining us. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Very much so. Yeah, they did some strange things too. Like I said, when he would meet with his attorneys, they put some cart together that he sat in that had a little space here that was 10 feet away from the attorney. I mean, just very weird things that you don't see happening, that I don't get it, but okay.
Sense of humor. He is incredibly compassionate and empathetic, and was really incredibly understanding and patient through the whole process.
So let me ask you this when we talk about the trial, just point blank, first question, did Richard Allen receive a fair trial in Carroll County?
I think that had the jury been able to hear the evidence that respectfully we believe should have come in, and Judge Gall ruled the way she did, and I'm sure she did so in a way that she felt was best. Respectfully, we disagree. That there's nothing uncommon about that. I think had the jury heard all of the evidence, seen all of the evidence, we would have had a different outcome.
Well, that's one of my questions on here. A major part of your defense were these things that the jury never even heard. So now that the gag order is lifted, and I know you're being respectful and this isn't over, so to speak, what can you or what do you want to say about the fact that a lot of that was never even heard?
Well, I think it probably changed the outcome of the trial. I think we had very viable suspects in alternate theories. They were able to describe the crime scene. We weren't. We had an expert Dawn Perlmutter, who wrote the handbook on ritualistic killings. She trains the FBI. She trains local law enforcement. And her testimony is that this is a textbook ritualistic killing. the composite sketches that look nothing like Richard Allen, which just goes to support the fact that, not a single person who was on the trail that day.
Yeah, I mean, there was some weird shit out there,
And
evidence-wise.
the descriptions they gave.
Normal.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I do agree with that. Yeah, 100%, Tandy. I told Tomboy we would do another run on it. Absolutely. And I'd love to have you be part of it because I know you guys were close to this case. So absolutely. Never seen a case where an image. Nah, me either. There's so many weird things that have gone on with this. His treatment, the sketches. Why didn't they bring this sketch out until however long afterwards? You know what I mean? There's too many questions with this one, guys. Way too many. And they're unanswered questions that people refuse to answer. They don't even want you to ask these questions.
Yeah.
That's where the problem lies.
That composite sketch there to the right, so that was, there was, what, 2 16-year-old girls that were on stand, and then somebody else was in their, like, 20s or 30s that were witnesses testifying to what they saw out there that day.
Right.
But, yeah. The 16-year-olds, their shit didn't match up to Richard Allen.
Right. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
they're 16 too, so they're like, oh, well, they're 16-year-olds, so how good are they at telling something?
I agree. Agreed. Mom said your worst witness is an eyewitness. I've heard that 100 times. She is right. Absolutely. Yeah. Good points. Good points.
Of him don't describe Rick Allen. So I think that had we been able to present our evidence and give the jury someone else, I think that we would have had a different outcome.
What about from our perspective, when we had the opportunity to be in the courtroom, this seemed like a very engaged jury. Did you guys feel the same way? We felt like they asked a lot of good questions. We felt like they were listening. Did you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, they asked great questions and a lot of questions. I felt that they were engaged, and that's hard. It's hard to sit and listen. Imagine being in a class for 8 hours a day. That's hard. And they were very engaged, asked thoughtful questions, seemed to have some background on some things. And so, yeah, I applaud them and appreciate that.
So on that topic of the jury, was there, and these two questions kind of go hand in hand, in your opinion, was there a pivotal moment for you guys and for the state where you guys thought, the jury is maybe leaning one way or another? Was there a pivotal moment that you remember for either side?
No. I shockingly was genuinely surprised with the verdict. It's so hard to read a jury, and I try not to look a lot because I feel like that sometimes people can be offended by that. I don't want to invade their space, if you will, but when I did, I felt like we had, no one seemed offended, no one seemed shut off at all. People seemed open to us. And I've had juries who've, found my client guilty, who said, wow, you did a great job. If any of us never ever need an attorney, we're going to call you. You don't have to, you can like us and still not fine for our client. I think we just felt very strongly that there was reasonable doubt. The timeline for the state doesn't add up at all. And given the fact that they were so thoughtful, we felt good about it. I think that when they viewed the evidence on Saturday, that I felt like might have been a pivotal moment, but we haven't been able to talk to any of the jurors. We would love to. We're not mad at anyone. We would love to have a conversation about what they thought. Did we do anything to offend them? How can we be better if this comes back?
So when that jury broke for deliberation, you guys felt good.
Yeah, we did.
And then what happened? Why do you think that jury convicted Richard Allen?
Obviously, I presume they felt that the state had proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. There were some interesting reactions to what they listened to. So when they came in Saturday, they listened to both of his statements. And, amongst the three of us, we had very in-depth conversations about whether we should keep those out. But Rick is so genuine and so adamant in the face of the lies being told to him, the lie that, there's scientific evidence that that's his voice on the video, the lie that there's scientific evidence that that's him in the video, the lie that there are eyewitnesses who saw him on the video.
And where the hell is the scientific evidence that doesn't
He was
match up to him that they're not showing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And why? Why won't they show that?
Which gears the jury to one side.
It's all one-sided.
You can't show the real shit.
Yep. It's all one-sided, 100% one-sided, all the way around one-sided. There's no other, they won't accept or allow or bring for nothing.
Yeah.
One-sided, period. And that's not, none of this was ever innocent until proven guilty from the very beginning. And we all know that. Okay. Ever. It was guilty until you could prove him otherwise, and they won't allow you to. Figure that out. It's wrong. Yeah, the stretch about the unspent bullet. The bullet's bullshit. Folks.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I'm sorry.
That was classic there.
And to hear the only way that they could prove that this was that by firing it through the gun.
Exactly. 5 or 6 more fucking times,
Bullshit.
Yep. The markings. Yep.
It was never fired out of a gun. So why did you have
No
to do
shit.
that?
Yeah.
Miss me with that bullshit. Whatever.
You couldn't see the markings enough to determine that it came out of his gun. So then you did this bullshit, and then you wrapped it up and said, "Oh, yep, that was it."
Right.
Get out.
Exactly. It's pure stupidity. I'm sorry.
How can I don't know? People just don't know, but how can you listen to that on the jury and go, "Oh wow, that sounds right"?
Well, they didn't allow the jury to hear anything else, though, Mike. Remember, there was no other option. Like they made sure that they sealed this up in a nice little square, perfect little box.
Wrapped it and put a fucking bow on it.
Yep,
Sure.
here you go. And she would not allow them to hear it, even a glimpse of anything.
Yeah.
Other than that defense. So it was a lockdown. It was a strong box. There was nothing else. And I, like I said, if I was on that jury, I'd be pissed right now. And I mean, pissed.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be able to sleep.
Right. So,
for many reasons. Holy shit.
Yep, I do agree. That's another good point. Dandy says, "Why no pics of the bullet being found in such an important place?" I call bullshit too. Thank you.
Genuine and sincere. So we were going in, we knew that they were going to look at his statements, and we thought, okay, this is good because those are really great. And then they played the video from the phone, and it seemed to me that there was some disagreement amongst the jurors. They were listening very intently. Some of them had their eyes closed, their face down so that they could listen. And I was really struck by that because I thought, oh my goodness, they're trying to take that 2 seconds of bridge guy saying guys down the hill and match it to Rick. And they're listening to Brian Harshman say, yeah, that's him on video, he has no background, no training experience to say that. That's when I got worried.
There were a few specific things that happened that I wanted to mention, though. One of them, when we heard from Jerry Holman during the trial, who admitted that mistakes were made. How do you respond to that? How do you handle that as a defense team?
Well, look, in the course of a 5.5-year investigation with multiple agencies, probably too many Indians, not enough chiefs, things are going to get missed, mistakes are going to be made. That's natural. The issue is when a mistake is made, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to try and fix it? Are you going to be transparent about it? Are you going to try to hide it? What's going on here? Thank goodness for Ferenczi and Kevin Murphy and Todd Click, and Todd Click especially, that he's the assistant Rushville police chief who paid an attorney, this is unheard of, to write a letter to the prosecutor to say, you're missing our suspects. Please pay attention to this, basically. And that wasn't turned over for months. And without that, I don't know, I wasn't involved then, but I don't know that we would have had the evidence that we had that we felt should have been presented to the jury.
Another key moment that happened was, and we've received a lot of questions about this, was the hair found at the crime scene. And one of the quotes when asking this.
Here we go, Mom. Here's your question. Or is this the hair you were talking about, Mom? Are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the pet hair.
Or the animal hair.
How come the pet hair wasn't brought up?
Yeah,
how come the pet hair wasn't brought up? You had pet hair that was supposed to be tied to Ron Logan. Why was the dead cat in fucking Richard's yard not brought up? Why didn't law enforcement fucking take his devices and go through them when this investigation first started? Like, this case was fucked up from the beginning.
Yep. When this man came to them and said, I was there that day, this and that, and everything else, why did they wait 6 years to go back and go, okay, we want to talk to you now? Come on.
Yeah, everybody wants to fucking go and just judge, goal, hate monger. But this all started way before her. Like, these failures started way back when. And there's shit that some of us know. There's stuff that some of us know that these new people that jumped on this case and was like, oh, hey, this is a trending case. Let me get on this. And, no, there's shit that happened that's not being talked about, that wasn't brought up in court, that pisses me the hell off completely and totally.
Yeah, there's a lot. It started all the way back at the beginning. I agree with you. Like I said, the whole investigative team shut down and went one direction, and 3 other guys went this direction, and other things happened then. The stuff you're talking about, I think the judge was the icing on the cake, at least for me. But yes, you were right. There's a lot of things that were not brought up. But was it because they weren't allowed? Well, those things that you're talking about that happened at the beginning of the investigation were never talked about. And why? Why did that not happen? Why did the professor that got buried? Why did this get buried? Why wasn't that talked about? Why wasn't this brought out? It's all none of it makes any sense. And it goes way back to 2017. It started there. I agree with you. I do. And it is very pissing off, possible, for lack of better terms. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's not, and I don't try to hate monger on the judge. I promise guys that. I just don't like, as a judge, how the things that Mom's bringing up, how she didn't ask about those things, why she didn't pull for those things to be put out there. That's what I'm not understanding with her. I've never seen a case go down like this ever. So
see, look at Moonlit Baby. Never heard
right
about
there.
that.
Never even heard about it. Right. A lot of people didn't know about that animal hair either, Mom.
I mean, did this lady just go, oh shit, this is so messy, but this will fly right through. So this is just how I'm going to play it. Who knows?
It don't make no sense.
She
None
was
of it
the
makes
last
sense.
one in line and looked like shit, you know, because she had to deal with it. They just so plop here and they plopped it in her hands, and she's got to be, you know, face of the county.
Danny said she spoke about there being holdouts and how they were shown certain evidence, then changed their mind to follow the sheep. In my opinion, the verdict was feeling and not fact based. Oh, it definitely wasn't. The jury didn't have all the facts. They didn't. There was a lot of things they didn't even know about. There's a lot of things that the public doesn't know about still. Everything was thrown to the side, buried under here, put over there, put back here, and not talked about, looked at, or brought up, like Mom said. That one, like I said, there's a lot of people that don't know about the animal hair with Ron Logan, the dead cat, all that kind of stuff. Why? Every piece of this, of any case like this, should be brought to the surface and put out there as evidence for different things. Where is it? You know, why wasn't that talked about? And like she said, from the beginning, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Expert, okay, why are we waiting to test it later? The quote that you said was, but this is the time. Richard Allen is on trial now. We've received a lot of questions about, okay, why aren't we testing the hair? And I'm sure you guys are probably asking a similar question.
Yeah. So science has evolved as it always does. You can get, it's called SNP DNA, and use that and then run that through the forensic genealogical databases. So you have to hire two different labs, one to get this SNP DNA from a hair shaft, and then another one to do the forensic genealogy. And there was just a case in Hawaii. I think the Innocence Project probably were the ones. They went in and they were able to identify and exclude the person that they had charged. And I think this man was even in prison for a while. I can't remember the facts, but that came up during the trial, the man in Hawaii. So of course it can be done. And it was really disappointing because, you know, we had met with the state's expert, and she talked to us about they were putting together a SNP DNA lab to be able to do this. And then to come in and turn around and say, yeah, it's not really, you know, reliable. Well, then why are you spending the money for a lab? And it is, you know, it's been used in other cases. And the fact that she doesn't know that is a little disturbing. There is male DNA profiles from the fingernails that they haven't had tested. And, you know,
Did what? There's male DNA profiles from the fingernails that were never tested. You've got to be kidding.
Yeah. Never tested.
Can you imagine? Like, do you see the problem with this?
Yeah. Richard's DNA wasn't there.
Right.
Well, you know.
Whose DNA is that, I wonder?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. That's one of the main things you do in a case like this, as you pull DNA or anything from under the fingernails of the victims. Why was it never tested?
Yeah.
Guys, what? You know what I mean? Good God Almighty. This is insane. Wow.
Oh yeah, there's more shit on this too. As you go through this, there's more of this.
There's a lot. Like Mom said, the cat, the animal hair. We have this now. There's more coming, folks. All of these things, and this goes all the way back to day number 1.
When Baldwin speaks on this, he gets kind of choked up. You can tell.
They
he doesn't want
believe
to talk about certain things.
And there's reasons why I think these guys have so much belief in the fact that Allen is innocent, why they stuck with him, why they were willing to do this pro bono, why the other attorney that did his interview, why he felt so strong about this and this and that. There's reasons for that, folks, because of things like this. Again, I'm not saying that Richard Allen is 100% innocent of this, okay? I've never, ever said that. I've said I don't see how they're doing this with what they have. And knowing these other things on the back end of this that are there that are not being brought out, talked about, shown, any of it, how this happened. I don't understand this. It's unbelievable to me. All these things they got to be important. And this man that is dead now that got away with all these things, I believe, that in my opinion is probably 99% or no, 93% more responsible than anybody else in this case. It was on his property. He lied about his alibi. All these things that happened. His girlfriend, for Christ's sakes, came out and said, I believe he did this. I'm pretty almost 99% sure he did this. If I could find the interview, I'll show it to you.
So this may be a dumb question, but if this DNA does get tested or whatever if this comes out, is there any way they can go back and try to compare it to DNA from him, even though he's dead?
From Logan?
Yeah.
He was cremated, wasn't he?
I don't know, Vern.
I don't know. Mom, do you know anything about that? If they can go back and if they have DNA from him?
Yeah.
If they
can
come,
they track it back through
if they have DNA.
That's the thing.
If they have DNA, they can.
But
and you have to keep in mind that if he has any
family,
family, yeah, that's what I was fixing to say, Mikey, on my brainwave. It's foggy up there. You might get scared. If he has family, you have to think, get out of it. I say that. Get out of there. Anyway, sidetrack. Squirrel. Mitochondrial DNA is the stuff. Like that's the DNA you want.
It would be
That's
the same
Mama's
thing that they did
DNA.
with
There's
Koberger,
no way
right?
around that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
right. They
about
can
the
find
same.
it based off of a relative or something. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they can use dad's DNA, but mitochondrial is what you want. That's the DNA that you want to see. How did they identify King Tut? By narrowing it down to which one of the mummies was his mother. No pun intended.
Right.
I just did them.
Exactly. Absolutely. See, I'm saying it, and I hope that during the appeal process that they're able to do something to see and show this. I don't want to hear, well, we have three other pieces of male DNA, but we can't test it because there's not enough. I don't. No.
Yeah.
No. I don't want to hear that with this. I'm just saying. Can you? I can't imagine. I'm curious to see what happens with this. If they're going to allow for this to happen, okay? If there's not going to be somebody that somehow steps in during the appeal process and all this stuff that gets pulled out now, if there's not going to be somebody or somebody's that tries to step into this to shut this down, I'm curious. I'm not saying how it would happen because I don't know. I'm not saying what would happen because I don't know. But I have a very bad feeling that somewhere down the line during this process, somebody's going to try to step into this and shut this down in one way or another. I just feel that.
Yeah. How long are they going to try to extend this out, kind of thing, for something to happen to them? Not to, put bad on anything, but how many times are they going to? Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. Okay. I've been worried about that for a long time. That something, because of where he was being kept, how he was being kept, what was going on, that at some point somebody was trying to get rid of this guy before anything even happened. But we made it through the trial and all that. Let's see what happens from this point on. I just don't trust anything at this point with this case at all. Nothing. So we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, absolutely, Dandy. I've seen that too. That's what I'm saying. That whole interview, that gave me like goosebumps watching that interview, listening to her, watching the realism come out of her face and the actual fear that this woman had of this man. And before I saw that, I really didn't look at him in that way. Like, he looked like an old man to me. I didn't look at him as being like the crazy psycho that she portrayed him as. She was real about that. That's what weirded me out. So
I wonder if they understand and appreciate that the strength of their verdict isn't that strong, and they're waiting to see what comes next. But, that could be used to exclude Rick Allen. It may not point to someone, but it could be used to exclude him.
Because the rhetoric was.
And there it is, guys. If they can exclude him, are they going to go looking? Are they going to allow for these other people or somebody else to be looked at? Is it going to happen, or is it just going to be dropped at that point? Are they going to come out and say, okay, well, we have proof now that it's not Allen. Now what? Are they going to go to somebody else on this, or are they just going to let it be?
Especially like if it boils down to, this possible Ron Logan thing, what are they going to do? They go, oh, well, he's dead. What can you do about it now?
Isn't that convenient, though? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was all him now. And he's dead. I still don't think it was one person, though, guys. I do not believe this was one person.
Yeah.
I'll never let that go. I will not. I just can't. I can't do it. So, thank you, Mikey.
You're welcome.
Why do it? Why not do it? Confirm it's actually the man charged unless they know otherwise. That's a good point, Dandy. I agree with you on that. Congrats, Dagburn. Johnny Gobble's dead. Floozy Mother, I love the name. And welcome to the sauce. We appreciate you being here.
Was, well, not yet, or we're still waiting on what?
The next trial? Yeah. I mean, there could be evidence out there right now that exonerates Richard Allen. There were, I think, over 15 hairs found at the scene.
Holy shit.
And here's the other thing. There were cigarette butts that they collected originally. They sent those off for forensic genealogy, and they were able to identify the profiles.
Richard even smoked
cigarette butts. There's a lot of forensic evidence.
Was this the Indiana cowboys that were out there on scene that fucking left their cigarette butts, huh?
Yeah, I don't know that he did. But there it is. There's the hair she's talking about there. There's cigarette butts. There's all this other stuff. Where was that? Yeah. Where was that in the evidence with the trial?
Yeah, no shit. They got Rex Heerman off a fucking pizza box.
Yeah, right. Come on now. This is ridiculous.
Crust.
Ron Logan was on probation. Was Keegan Klein on any type of supervision when the girls were murdered? I know he was busted for CP after the fact. I don't know, Dandy, but that's a good question. It is. It very much is. Absolutely.
That could, point to someone else, or could be used to exclude Richard Allen.
So when we reconvened, when we were all back in the courtroom for the announcement of the verdict, nobody wins in this case. This is a horribly tragic case for everyone involved.
It is. Okay. I just got the call. I'm going to have to call it a night on this, guys. Like I said, we're going to come back and do a 2-part on this. We'll finish this interview because this interview is a lot longer than you would think.
Yeah.
And there's more too that I want to put to this. So I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. Mikey, thank you for jumping up. Your mom. Thank you for expressing your views, Mom, and bringing that stuff to light. Because like I said, a lot of people don't know about that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we're probably going to come back and do part 2 of this tomorrow in the afternoon. And I'd love it if you both, if you're up to me again tomorrow, Mom and Mike, if you're feeling like it, I appreciate you.
Si, senor.
Johnny Gobble's mom says, I am from Indiana. I have literally no faith in our law enforcement or court systems. And that's sad. You shouldn't have to feel that way.
Yeah, for real.
You shouldn't. Mikey, do you have anything to add before we do get out of here?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for joining me, brother. Always appreciate it. All right, bro. And Miss Mom, what do you think? And what do you have?
Well, you know what I think.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all make good choices.
We love you, Mom. Absolutely.
Simple.
Yes, yes, yes. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning for the. Wait, what is tomorrow? Shoot,
Tomorrow's Thursday.
It might be later. I have a little bit. I have another doctor's appointment tomorrow. I still want to make it on time though. But either that, I'll see you tomorrow for the morning show, and we'll do part 2 of this tomorrow afternoon. And you guys are amazing. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, and don't change a thing because you guys are the beautiful people. And I will see you all on the flip side. Bye bye, folks. Thanks again.
See ya.
But in
Bring it in the dining room, dude. Oh, wow.
Sharing their stories, giving away their fates. Daniel's a warrior, who the